Civil society activist James Boboya is calling on President Salva Kiir to take immediate and decisive steps to end South Sudan's prolonged transitional period and pave the way for credible elections. And the East African Community Peer Assessment Team has commenced an official assessment visit at the headquarters of the South Sudan Bureau of Standards in Juba. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. The defense team representing suspended first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and 7 co-accused has challenged part of a digital forensic report presented in court. The objection was raised during the 52nd court sitting yesterday as digital forensic expert Hargo Peter Calvin presented his findings as prosecution document number 9. The defense argued that the expert did not have the legal authority to carry out the forensic analysis. During the session, several documents were marked for identification. This included a request from the National Communications Authority for Forensic Assistance, letters from the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Justice seeking international legal support, communication with South Sudan's mission in South Africa regarding private forensic experts, and documents related to a diplomatic bag sent from South Sudan's embassy in South Africa. The defense strongly objected to the marking of the document linked to the diplomatic bag. Defense lawyer Dr. Gary Raimondo told the court that the forensic process did not follow South African law. He argued that the material should first have been officially received and handled by South African police before any examination was conducted. He said the expert lacked jurisdiction and that the findings should therefore have no legal effect in court. The defense also objected to another foreign affairs document, saying the procedures used made the evidence invalid. Lead prosecutor Ajo Onyi Ohesa rejected the objections, describing them as misplaced and premature. He told the court that the documents are original and that the defense had not shown any problem with them. The court adjourned the case to Friday, 20th February 2026. The forensic expert is expected to continue presenting his report. The court will then move to examination and cross-examination. Civil society activist James Boboya is calling on President Salva Kiir to take immediate and decisive steps to end South Sudan's prolonged transitional period and pave the way for credible elections. In his 10-minute video message yesterday following the conclusion of the African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Boboya said regional leaders and the C5 group had discussed the worsening situation in South Sudan with particular focus on the suffering of its citizens. He warned that the country's crisis is becoming more catastrophic and urged the president to demonstrate political will to steer the nation toward stability, democracy and the rule of law. Boboya appealed directly to President Kiir to deliver a national address upon returning home, outlining clear time-bound actions to conclude the transition. Key among his recommendations is the immediate release of political detainees and the initiation of an inclusive national dialogue. According to Boboya, such a dialogue should bring together political detainees, opposition groups, civil society and other stakeholders to address fundamental national issues. These include constitutional reforms, security sector restructuring, electoral preparations, justice and reconciliation mechanisms, and economic reforms. A key outcome of the proposed dialogue is said should be a binding commitment by armed opposition groups to renounce violence and integrate into a unified national army. Boboya went on to suggest a 6-month time frame to reorganize, retrain, and reintegrate all armed forces under one command structure as part of comprehensive security sector reforms. On constitutional reform, Boboya proposed that consensus reached during the dialogue be integrated into the ongoing constitution-making process. He called for immediate funding to the Constitutional Review Body and the Parliament to ensure a people-driven process that incorporates views from civil society and diverse communities. The revised constitution, he argued, should form the legal foundation for free and fair elections. He further recommended that Parliament amend the Electoral Act to align with the new constitutional framework. Once harmonized, he suggested that the National Elections Commission should be restructured to meet updated legal requirements and begin receiving immediate funding to operationalize preparations for elections. Despite the absence of a national census, Boboya suggested that voter registration could proceed under existing legal provisions and serve as the basis for conducting elections pending a future census. He emphasized that political parties must also be formally registered and operate under clear, fair conditions established through consensus. Boboya stressed that creating a secure and open political environment is essential for parties to compete freely. The East African Community Peer Assessment Team has commenced an official visit at the headquarters of the South Sudan National Bureau of Standards in Juba. The assessment seeks to evaluate the effectiveness, efficiency, conformity, and consistency of the South Sudan National Bureau of Standards operations against the requirements of the International Organization for Standardization and International Electrotechnical Commission Standard 17065, the international standard governing product certification bodies, as well as applicable statutory and regulatory frameworks. The review specifically focuses on activities related to the Bureau's product certification processes. The opening session was attended by the Executive Director of the South Sudan National Bureau of Standards, Gloria Nyoka, and the Director General for Technical Operations, Ashjan Paulino. In her remarks, Ms. Paulino assured the visiting team of the Bureau's full preparedness and commitment to transparency throughout the evaluation. She emphasized that the South Sudan National Bureau of Standards stands ready to implement all recommendations arising from the assessment to further strengthen institutional performance, compliance, and service delivery. Executive Director Gloria Nyoka welcomed the East African Community Peer Assessment Team to South Sudan and expressed appreciation to the regional bloc and Trademark Africa for facilitating the initiative. She underscores the Bureau's gratitude for continued regional collaboration and reaffirmed its openness and readiness to provide all necessary information and support to ensure a successful assessment process. This is iRadio News. And now to the international scene. 3 South Africans have been charged with murder following the killing of an e-hailing taxi driver, the manner of whose death, captured on dashcam footage, has shocked many people. A video shared widely on social media shows a man and a woman tussling with the driver, Isaac Satlad, who they appear to be robbing. Satlad tries to fight back before one of the passengers appears to strangle him until he goes limp. The trio, who were arrested over the weekend, were in court in Pretoria on Monday and have since abandoned their bail applications. They were not asked to comment on the charges. A fourth suspect later handed himself over to police. BBC Verify has confirmed the location of U.S. aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, near Iran using satellite imagery. Washington continues to put pressure on the country over its military program and recent deadly crackdown on protesters. U.S. and Iranian officials are set to meet in Switzerland today for a second round of talks. Iran says the meeting will focus on its nuclear program and the potential lifting of economic sanctions imposed by the U.S. Washington has previously indicated it wants to discuss other issues as well. The Abraham Lincoln, which leads a strike group with 3 guided missile destroyers, carries 90 aircraft including F-35 fighters and 5,680 crew, was reportedly deployed to the Gulf region in late January but has not been seen in satellite imagery until now. It has been located off the coast of Oman, around 700 kilometers from Iran. This is iRadio Morning News, and to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. The defense team representing suspended first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and 7 co-accused has challenged part of a digital forensic report presented in court. Civil society activist James Boboya is calling on President Salva Kiir to take immediate and decisive steps to end South Sudan's prolonged transitional period and pave the way for credible elections. And the East African Community Peer Assessment Team has commenced an official visit at the headquarters of the South Sudan National Bureau of Standards in Juba. That's the end of iRadio Morning News. If there is a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925287870. It's also a WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at 8 o'clock. I'm Lasuba Memo. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.